Today is August 6, 2019. Today we talk about critical race theory.
You are listening to Political American.
Hey, how's everyone doing today? This is episode 9, I do believe, August 6th. We're going to talk about critical race theory. I came across this in an article. It's about Marxist critical race theory infiltrates churches and the culture of the churches. So I don't really want to talk about that so much as I came down and saw a definition of critical race theory and intersectionality, and it seems to be what leftists are doing more and more nowadays. So I figured I would make an episode on that, mostly about delving into white supremacy, white privilege, all the stuff that they say people are, where it's a white problem, white people are the problem, stuff like that. So critical race theory recognizes that racism is ingrained in the fabric and system of the American society. The individual racist needs not to exist to note the institutional racism is pervasive in the dominant culture. So even though no white people are racist, there's still institutional racism and white privilege and white supremacy, apparently, which makes no sense. Words matter. That's why we go through definitions too on this show. Critical race theory identifies that these power structures. This is the analytical lens that critical race theory uses in examining existing power structures. Critical race theory identifies that these power structures are based on white privilege and white supremacy, which perpetuates the marginalization of people of color. So let's go through some definitions. So white privilege is the fact of people. This is Cambridge Dictionary, by the way. The other ones are Merriam-Webster, which is way different. Apparently, Merriam-Webster is a little bit more knowledgeable, it seems like, in what words mean. But white privilege is the fact of people with white skin having advantages in societies that other people don't. So that's what white privilege is. White supremacy, which is also white supremacist. White supremacist is a person who believes that they're a person who believes. Sorry, I'm trying to talk too fast. That the white race is inherently superior to other races, and the white people should have control over other people or over people of other races. So, white supremacy is the belief that the white race is superior and white people should have control over other people and races, basically. Going off of that. And racism is the belief that race is a primary determinant of human traits and capacities, that racial differences produce an inherent superiority based on race. So, basically, like, it's saying that my white skin gives me better mental and physical capacities that people of other races don't have. That's basically what that's saying. Which to the most, we are like 99% the same, pretty much. Maybe about 95, but at least 95. We're largely majority the same. It doesn't matter who you are. There is a very small percentage that is the difference, and all the difference is about the amongst all the different humans is height, your skin color, uh, your hair color, your eye color, and pretty much the size of stuff, like how big your hands are gonna be. It's pretty much cosmetic. Because strip down, if you were to strip down 5 different humans to their muscular structure, take off their skin and their hair and everything like that, you'd pretty much not be able to identify uh, what kind of race they are. You wouldn't be able to know what they were if you were not shown what they look like beforehand. Um, there's some little things that over time, like German language is more of a technical language, which might help you with math and stuff like that. There's some things that black people have apparently better twitch reflexes in their legs. It's an ongoing science, but that's evolution. I think that's evolution based on area specific needs, just like how the skin changed because of the distance from the equator, pretty much. So, and then we're gonna talk about marginalized because it also talked about marginalized. Marginalized is to relegate to an important or powerless position in a society or group. So that's what marginalized means. Basically, to make someone powerless. So critical race theory is it perpetuates the powerlessness of people of color. So do you think that's really what goes on in America right now? Do you really think that white people have so much power that um people of any other race can't are powerless or unimportant? I mean, if you lived long enough, you would know that that's not the truth. That's blatantly a lie because especially in America. Now, let's go back to the foundation. Pretty much at the founding of this country, it was made largely, if not almost mostly, by white people, white Europeans. And that's how it was founded. It was largely like 99% white for a long time. Um when slavery happened, it wasn't even just black people that came over. It's not like black people were the only slaves, and that's what people seem to forget is that black people weren't the only slaves. So people when people start talking about slavery reparations, that's not just for black people. When it said every slave will have 40 acres and a mule, that went for Irish people. That went for a lot of different. That went for Chinese people. That went for a lot of people that were enslaved, not just black people. And that's what a lot of people don't seem to understand is that there were other people in this country that were enslaved that weren't black. And what a lot of people don't understand is there was a lot of people that were black that were also slave owners and that were free. But people don't seem to recognize that. They don't seem to understand that. They don't seem to think about that. They just see what media and TV tells them versus what actual history is. So we're going to go through a couple examples of some sites real quick to see what they say. This is Bustle. It's a part of a failing news organization. I do believe, let's see, what else do they have? I can't click on that. They have a lot of different, is it down here at the bottom? Nope. Do I have to go all the way down to, does it just keep making articles? I guess it does. Okay. So I don't know, but I think these are the people that bought Gawker. So let's go to the example. Your this is what white privilege, right? White, yeah, right. This is what it means to be white, basically. Your wages aren't lower because of your race. There is no way. And they have decoded here, which is totally not at all a factual show. It's been debunked countless times. So, they're saying that because you're a minority, you get paid less. That is incorrect. That is correct. It's not even really correct. So if you look at statistics based on race, black people do make less money. But why do black people make less money? Black people make less money because they aren't in higher paying jobs. That's why they make less money. It's not it's not that everyone doesn't have the opportunity. This is what they seem to miss. They talk about the gender wage gap, the racial wage gap, all that stuff. There is opportunity or equality in opportunity. You, me, everybody out here in America has the same opportunity to make the same choices in life. You have the same opportunity at 18 to go join a Job Corps, the military, anything, to get your degree, to go and get a high wage job so that you can buy a home before you're 25. Everyone has that ability. Black people do not. It's not like black people don't have the ability. There is countless black people that have done that. Are they majority of the black community? No. But there is a lot of black people that have done that. There's a lot of black people that have broken free of their family tradition of staying in one place and gotten successful during between different types of ways. Okay, it's not like the only way out for a black person is rap or basketball. That's ridiculous. And that's pretty much white people, which is pretty much what this company is, and leftists. The leftist white people want black people to think is that they have no ability to get out of the crap that they're in. You have, without help from us white leftists, you have no chance of fixing yourself, and that's completely bullshit. So that one's fake, wrong. People don't make assumptions about your intelligence based on your race. I've never. Now, I'm not saying that people don't do that. Okay, people I'm sure do that. Some people. The people I've been around in my life, which is kind of a anecdotal, I guess, piece of information, but the people that I've seen, a lot of conservatives don't think that. Don't try and go that way. Don't automatically think because someone's black or brown that if there's a doctor, oh, you must have worked really hard because it must have been hard for you. It didn't come easy. Like, no. No one thinks that. Oh, not a lot of people think that. A majority of America, I'm pretty sure, does not believe that. I could put stock in that. I will bet on that a majority of America does not believe that. Like I said, I'm sure there's people that do. But that is false. Because I've felt, because I'm overweight, when I run, because I do security, when I run after someone, and then I get back, people were like, I didn't know you could run. I got legs, don't I? Like, obviously I can run. I mean, I'm not like a marathon sprinter or nothing, but, or, runner. You don't feel pressure to represent your race. I feel like that's a lot more, I feel like that's a lot more about white people nowadays. Which is funny how it's okay for white people to do it, apparently, at one point in time, and now anyone else is doing it, and so it's fine. But the whole point, excuse me, the whole point of, I guess what they're pointing out is that President Obama made a few mistakes, and Donald Trump says that another black person won't get elected. Let's see what they say about that. Let me double check that. See if that's on there. That's probably true in some sense. I think mostly it's not. I don't think that. Well, actually, you know what? I think that's false. So I think if there is a black Democrat, they won't get elected. But I'm positive that if you had a Larry Sharp or Larry Sharp, Shannon Sharp. Wait, nope, wrong person. Larry Elder or I think there was a Larry Sharp or something. He's like a conservative libertarian in a sense. I'm sure if one of those two ran, or Ben Carson again, I would have voted for Ben Carson. I think it's more of the left right thing. Because I sure as heck don't want to vote for another Democrat, yet alone a black one. So, not because he's black, just because he's a Democrat. Because Obama did horrible things for the economy, for Americans. And that's mostly what it is. In the end of the day, if I don't care what he said, what he did, whatever, if my paycheck is smaller, I got taxed more than I did under Bush. It was harder to have hours versus under Bush. It was harder to get a job versus under Bush. So that's the problem. That's the problem. And I don't care if they're black, white, Jewish, Indian. I don't care who they are. If I get more money in my paycheck, more money in my bank account, and it's easier for me to find a high-paying job and work a lot of hours and get a house quicker, that's the person I want. I don't care. They could be speaking whatever. I don't care what language. They don't even have to speak English. I don't care. Just as long as they get the job done. That's all I care about. That was a little bit of a rant. Sorry about that. Most products are geared towards you. Most products in America are geared towards us. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that companies make products that are geared towards the majority population? Do you think that might be a monetary decision? Maybe. Why do you think it is that black products made by black people for hair, for whatever, don't make as much money? Probably because there's not enough black people to make a profit off of it. That's what I'm guessing. So obviously, they're going to make products that get the most out of their money. Their most widespread. That's what you're going to do. It would be stupid to do otherwise. If you go to Africa, I'm pretty sure if Africa was America, if Africa was like America, I can guarantee that I'm not gonna find some Suave or whatever over there that's good for my hair. It's all gonna be geared towards African hair, towards black hair. That's what it's gonna be geared towards. Should I sit there and go, what? I can't buy any of my hair products here. No, that's what happens. Bring your own. Order it online. Online's an amazing thing. Changes the whole thing. Most of the media is geared towards you. Again, another thing. You know, that's why the whole thing, Oscars so white. White people are the majority in this country, so obviously they're going to win the most. It would be kind of weird. Let's say black people were 5% of the population or something. Let's say that they're like 15, right? I think they're more like 20 right now. I don't know. 15. No, I think they're about 15, 16% of the population. You're going to tell me that if it was just black and white in this country, that the Oscars should have a whole bunch of people that represent 15% of the population, whole bunch of black people up there? That makes 0 sense. If you were to gamble 75%, something that would win 75% of the time versus something that will win 15% of the time, you would gamble for the 75% of the time every time. Beauty standards aren't rigged against you because you're race. This one is probably true. This one isn't about white people. This one's about the beauty industry. The beauty industry is a piece of shit. It hurts every woman. It doesn't matter who you are. That's correct in the sense that white people, it says white women don't feel or you don't usually feel pressure to have lighter skin, blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit. But it doesn't matter. The beauty industry is bullshit. It's crap. Jobs won't discriminate Jobs won't discriminate against you due to your race. That's illegal. Illegal. I like how it says, look at the backlog, the rape kit backlog. It has this weird tweet right here. I don't understand. But anyways, that's racist. If you think you're being racially discriminated against in hiring practices, you can go to the labor board and they will launch an investigation and help you out for free. If it get you and a couple friends to go do it, and they will find out if someone is doing something, and then guess what? They will hire people. They do an exhaustive investigation, and they will. It might take a few years, of course, but they got your back. They got your back, and it is illegal to discriminate. That's what's so funny, is that they like to claim that places discriminate against you, or the whole credit thing. It's easier for white people to get credit. No, it's not. It's easier for people with high credit score to get credit. I have a 500 something credit score. If a black person with 800 credit walked into somewhere to get a car, he'd get a better car at a better rate than I would. That's just simple economics. That's nothing about him being black, white, me being white. Nothing. He's got a better credit score than I do. You know, that's just how that is. That's just reality. So that one's false. People will trust you deserve to be where you are. So they're saying that you can't that if a black person's there, they're filling a quota or something like that. maybe if you're the only one there, it feels like you're a diversity hire or quota maker. It's just weird, if it's a all white school, always been white school, and then everyone's talking about it being a white school, and then a black guy shows up, and it's like, that's kind of weird. But it depends. It depends on the situation. But I don't think that's all the time, every time. That is not all the time, every time. I've never worked with someone and thought, oh, you're here because of they're filling a hiring quota. Never in my life have I ever thought about that. That's ridiculous. Police are looking out for you. More white people are killed than any other race in America. That is ridiculously wrong. That's ridiculous. It's funny how they go, oh, it's this many times more. Well, yeah, it's based on numbers. You have less numbers. If you have 15%, but if that 15%, because of Democrat policies, have made that 15% more viable to crime, then that 15% is going to see the cops more. That's how it is. But it's kind of like I don't believe that one at all. So that's wrong. There was one that was kind of right. This is the same kind of thing. Positive relationship with the police. I hate the police. That's wrong. Favored by school authorities. I also hate school authorities. I've not been favored by school authorities most of the time. I've been actually been discriminated against because a black kid said something and it was treated as truth, and I got screwed over. So, you have privilege of attending segregated schools of affluence. I don't have money, so no, I don't, bitch. So if it doesn't matter, that is not a white thing. That is a money thing. If you're black and you have money, your kid will go to. You can send your kid to a rich school. That's how that works. It's amazing. You have the privilege of learning about your race in school. That's because since the fucking foundation of this country, it's been mostly white people. It's amazing how they just kind of skirt the line on this. Again, children's book Represent My Race were 75% white. Soaked in Media were 75% white. Escaping stereotypes, maybe you should be focusing on your community. That's also something that needs to go on. White people also need to start thinking about their own community, because white people are starting to see problems with opioids. Everyone is. We all need to come together and start thinking about this shit. We need to be more community conscious. Privilege of playing the colorblind, wiping the escaping centuries of racism. You know what? How is it that my family came over here from Sweden? They were Swedish shoemakers. We worked in factories and stuff all our lives. We never owned slaves, but yet because I'm white, I have to be lumped in to a group with all these other people. It was 1% of America that owned slaves. 1%, the rich people owned slaves. They're still kind of in power today. So the rest of America, even if they were white, didn't own slaves. They were brainwashed to a certain extent, but most people were not running around killing black people, fucking with them, messing them up. Most people in the North, they were all treated. I mean, read your history. Read your history. Whatever. That one's wrong. Completely made up stuff. So, we're going to talk about the fallacy. Let's see here. It's a pillar of contemporary leftism that the notion of white privilege gives a generation of high school and college students being taught that a great number of unearned privileges accrue to white Americans. The charge of white privilege demands rational inquiry. So there's no reason a person can argue that white privilege applies to the great majority of whites, let alone to all whites. There are simply too many variables than race that determines individual success in America. It's not like suddenly you're born black and you're just screwed. That's not true. If it were true, why do whites commit suicide at twice the rate of black people? Why is that? So there's that. Whatever reason, white suicide. Still talking about that. A huge one is two-parent privilege. You were raised by a mother and father. Blah blah blah. Apparently, two-parent privilege is white privilege. I'm not gonna go through this whole thing. I should have wrote it down. But basically, it's a myth. It's a myth, and in itself is racism. Talking, putting everything on white people, making it about because I'm white, I'm somehow racist because of some other person that was white. That's racism. That's racism. That is pretty much a belief that my white race has traits and capacities that others don't. That's what racism is right there. It can mean that I myself think that, or it could mean that other people think that. So what do you think? Let me know. Leave comments, because this is a very touchy subject. Very touchy subject. Very I don't agree with it at all. At all. What do you think? Go on over to, should have had this page up. Go on over to anchor.fm/politicalamericans. See where we are online, where our podcast is. Support the podcast. Listen on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Breaker, and Radio Republic, or Radio Public. Sorry. There's about to be 9 episodes here pretty soon. Trying to get to 10, a nice milestone. Let us know what you think. You can also follow us on YouTube at Political American, and I'm working on getting. We're also on Minds. Is it minds.com/politicalamericans? It is minds.com/politicalamericans. Go check it out. Post there. Give us a message. Let us know what we think. Let us know what you think of what we're saying. I like to have an open dialogue. Doesn't matter if you don't agree with me. Opening up a conversation is the best way to talk. Thank you very much for listening. Sorry it was a short episode, but I just had to get this off my mind. Until next time, you guys have a good day.